Baschamania is back with another episode with another great wrestler. Today, we've got a bit younger of a guest, Penn State's Roman Bravo Young. RBY is a rising star who will no doubt be on the top of that NCAA podium sooner rather than later. But rather than wait until he wins a championship like most guests on this show, I wanted to sit down and have a conversation with someone who, with so much talent that's still on that quest. And make no mistake about it, RBY is a champion. He's a four-time undefeated state champ and an All-American as a true freshman. Such a hard feat to accomplish. So let's start this conversation, but before we do, let's officially start the podcast.
It's Baschamania! Let me tell you something, brother. He gave us everything he had in him tonight. What you gonna do when Baschamania runs wild on you? Oh, it's gonna be a good one. And business just picked up here on the podcast. Oh, yeah.
RBY, how are you, my man?
Good, how you doing?
Good. So we were just kind of talking before we got started about what we're talking about. And I want to dive right in, and I'm curious going back to when you were young. You were an absolute standout. You were undefeated in high school. I have to know how you got started. And I know, too, like, you grew up in Arizona. A lot of hot states like Florida, California, well, I guess not California, more so Florida, but wrestling isn't as popular as a winter sport in these hot states. How did you get started wrestling in Arizona?
Well, actually, my grandpa coached high school wrestling at a pretty known high school called Sunnyside High School in Tucson, Arizona. So I've always been an Arizona powerhouse, and I've been around that ever since I was born. My dad has been around there since I was young, and my grandpa just had a passion for it, and then his kids wrestled, so they just got me into it.
That's pretty cool. And then how old were you when you guys started?
I was around 6, I think, but I was always around it.
So it was.
I was born.
So it was natural to you. Is that why you were able to, I don't know, like conquer it at such a young age? I mean, you went undefeated through high school. That's not normal.
Yeah, it was tough. You know, there's a lot of pressure, and I don't know. I just did it, and took one match at a time. But
when you're young, and there is pressure on you because you're undefeated, what's your mindset? Do you try to stay humble? Are you so fixated upon the winning that it gets distracting? Like, what's your mindset like for that?
Yeah, I mean, that was last year. Was definitely a lot of pressure. You know, you don't want to lose. You want to I have the most winning matches in Arizona without a loss, like the history and all that stuff. And then 4 state champs was always a goal. But you just gotta stay focused. And I think I'm better at it now than I was back then. And I think Penn State just is a whole different ball game, and definitely changed my mind and perspective on things a lot. You know, here.
Did you know, how early did you know you wanted to go to Penn State?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know what Penn State was until they started recruiting me. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of big wrestling programs, or there's not a lot of big athletes in Arizona who go D1 and wrestle. I was never around college wrestling. I didn't wrestle folk style till high school or my 8th grade year, the year I got held back. I always did freestyle, so, you know what I mean? I wasn't really good at folk style my whole life, and I didn't really know what Penn State was. I didn't know that Princeton. I didn't know what Rutgers was. I didn't know all these colleges on the East Coast until I got to Penn State. None of my family went to college, so I'm figuring everything out as I got here, what it's really about. And last year just showed me a lot, like, well, wrestling's crazy on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's a different world, which is why I know Cal wanted to go from Iowa State to Pennsylvania, was just the hotbed of wrestling in the Northeast is nuts. So I assume then for recruiting, it really came down to how well you respected Cal and how much he thought he could do with you. That, you know, most people have an idea. Like, I was in your shoes, to be honest. Like, I never went to college, so, but by that degree, I never even thought about going, so I almost didn't know what was out there. Like, I didn't pay too much attention to it until probably I started paying attention to college football, because I never was a fan of college wrestling until later in high school. I mean, I wrestled, was no good, but I started paying a little bit of attention to it then. Nothing like it is now, but what's it? Your school was a powerhouse. Were you a star there, or is it similar to Penn State? Not were you a star there? Were you the only star there, or is it similar to Penn State where there's so many good kids? It's almost puts the focus back on team because there are so many studs in the lineup. Was it like that back then?
Well, I mean, my high school, there's like guys like Aaron Larkin, he went to ASU, and then Nick and Nick Gallick, they went to Iowa State. So that's all I knew. I only knew ASU. Okay, everyone from Arizona tries to go to ASU, and then there's Iowa State. I didn't know what Penn State was, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how to explain, but it was just once Kale called me, it was just like a no-brainer. Like they need some lightweights. Let's just go for it, right? It's the best team, and I like Kale. I like the coaching staff, and I didn't take any visits, so I just went with it. Had a gut feeling it was the right decision, and I just went with it. I didn't take any other visits. And it just was all in.
That's awesome. And what's it like wrestling there from a standpoint of being on a team with so many good people? Like there's so many good wrestlers. There's so much good character. Like was it similar to what the program was like in high school, or was it a totally different world?
No. In Arizona, it's just a whole different culture. You know, it's a lot of diversity back in Arizona. Here, it's just different, and that's one thing where I've grown as a person, just seeing how things work, being away from home in Tucson. Because, like I was just saying, just Tucson, I mean, it's not one of the best places to live in, but just being away makes you realize that, dang, there's like so much more to life than Tucson. I feel like my friends and people back home only know Tucson, but I mean, that's why I wanted to get away. And being on this team is just everyone's unique. Everyone has their own character. And then what makes it fun is everyone's good. And then just like wrestling on team, and everyone's so good. I'm like, okay, here I am, little freshman. I'm starting. I'm excited, but now I got to try to keep up with them. So it was just fun, and it's a game. It's a roller coaster, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a unique place. I mean, Cal took me in like I was a wrestler back when he first came there, and he's always treated me so well that I've had such a fun time being in that room. The atmosphere, there's nothing like it. I mean, even just watching and being the presence is such a fun thing. Does that help you with not having as much pressure on your shoulders? Like I know you just said in high school there was so much pressure on your shoulders. Like you're going undefeated, you have to maintain this. Does being around that atmosphere help you not put pressure on yourself?
Yeah, like I don't feel any pressure. Like things happen for a reason. Like Kale says, just get back up, keep moving forward. We're gonna wrestle other matches if you lose, and like I would say, just the mindset and just how they run things over here is just nothing like it. And obviously in high school, I didn't know this stuff. And just now me going through my first season, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't wrestle a tough folk style match like in college. I didn't wrestle so many good people at once every like weekend. And I didn't wrestle in front of so many fans. So like this year, it's just like I got no pressure. I always want to wrestle NCAAs. I did it. Now I know what to expect. Like I was always second my guessing myself. Like now it's just no pressure. Now it's just have fun and just whatever happens, happen, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, I love how much Cal instates or instills good character in people, and it sounds like even you. I mean, I feel like so many kids that come from such greatness, like you had in high school, you come to college and you know, it's hard to have an expectation for yourself. And I feel like Cal does such a good job of instilling that proper perspective that, you know, like your gratitude was so obvious after becoming an All-American this year as a true freshman. And you could tell that. It wasn't about a loss. It was about the win. And have you always had that ability to maintain that proper perspective? I mean, success, obviously, it takes a level of mental fortitude to maintain that, but have you always had that level of like gratitude and perspective?
No, I've grown so much here, and I'm just going to keep growing, just being around these guys every day. And I just think they helped me a lot get to this year. I mean, 8th place, it's not the best, it's not what I want, but obviously it was a good like reaching point. But obviously everyone wants to win, but I think they helped me a lot get there, and can't thank them enough. But I just want to keep getting better as the years go on.
Yeah, for sure. And I gotta imagine too that it makes things fun. Like I feel like so many times, I know the high school I went to, it's just it's a decent program in New York. It's nothing crazy, but you have your kids and who are super good. They run through the state tournament, they win states, and they burn out. And so many kids, the high school I went to is Spencerport. So many kids from Spencerport burn out, and you have very, very few. Like I can count them, probably 4 kids maybe. That the 4 years I was there, maybe 5 or 6, maybe 5 or 6 kids that went to wrestling college because they burn out from cutting weight, from not having fun. How have you been able to keep having fun? Is it that team atmosphere that kind of reinstills it, or how do you maintain that keep having fun within the wrestling itself? Like I imagine at this level you're having so much fun. How do you keep doing that? How do you not burn out when you're wrestling and you're wrestling at such a high level?
I mean, I think it's the way we train here, and it's just smart training and have fun, play dodgeball a lot, and don't take things too serious. Play wrestling and try new moves, and I don't think it's just so much about grind, kill ourselves every day, blah blah blah. Let's do that. Like I know a lot of other programs are big on this. Just gotta have fun with it, especially like if you want to wrestle after college. Can't just keep grinding every day. Your body can only take so much, if that makes sense. And I just think it's the way they train here and just the mindset, and I like it.
For sure. And then do you also find that, I know a lot of wrestlers, whether it's Penn State or anywhere, they kind of get lost in outside worlds to detach themselves at times, whether it's video games, whether it's business. What do you do when you're not wrestling? I mean, obviously you're in school, so I know that takes up a lot of time. But aside from that, like even going back to high school, like what are some things you do that kind of detach yourself when you're not on that grind?
Just me, I'm just chilling always. Just chilling, doing whatever. You know what I mean? I just go with the flow. Whatever happens. And, I play Xbox here and there. I'm all. That's just what I do. I really don't do anything specific. I just go on my phone and just chill.
You have hobbies?
No, I don't.
Really?
No, I don't have any hobbies. I don't do much. I just chill.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a college kid, like there's only so much time you have to really get into a hobby. Like growing my company, the first, I don't know, I'm in my 11th, 12th year now, and the first like 8 years, I had no hobbies. I worked 24/7, created the company, built the relationships, managed the work, and that was that. Only these last couple of years have been able to have hobbies, so I definitely get that. What are you in school for?
I'm actually doing RPTN, and I think David Taylor got his major in this. It's Rex and Parks, and do some like sports management or something like that.
Very cool. I mean, I imagine nobody's as good as you, and then doesn't kind of devote their life to wrestling. Most people. Have you decided that like no matter what you want to stay super involved in wrestling, or is it still so early you haven't even thought about that yet?
I mean, yeah, I haven't really thought about that, but like, I don't know if like I have the personality thing as a coach, but I don't know. I'll be doing camps and stuff. That stuff's cool and all, but I got to see in a couple of years how things pan out.
Yeah, you got so much time. I'm just wondering because I talked to so many. I've such good relationships with so many guys that are on the senior level and guys that are either post Olympics or just before Olympics, and they're forming those game plans. And I'm always so curious just to not necessarily see if you know yet, but just watching the evolution of what people want to do. Like, I was talking to Jordan Burroughs, who he's at the tail end of his competition career, and hearing how there's only certain things he wants to do now from a competition standpoint. It's, I want to create a persona bigger than wrestling. I want to transcend wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to see the evolution and the progress of watching guys like you, Yanni, Gable, who have this persona so early on. Like even guys like Taylor and Burroughs and Kale, like these guys didn't have social media. These guys didn't have all these different elements to their career. Do you think about that, or do you just kind of let it be and focus on wrestling and then see where things kind of play out?
I mean, I let it be now. That's this year. This is big on social media. We don't need to be on that stuff. People don't need to know what we're doing. Like them say, there's no success or anything that says social media is going to make you successful. Yeah, I mean, you got to go on and post in there. It helps you build your brand for your future, and you do camps and stuff, and helps you networking and stuff like that. But other than that, you just got to let it be. There's always going to be haters. You could win a match by 100 points. Someone's going to find you can't let that stuff get to you. But to me, that's just I let it be followers and stuff. But I just like to put on the show regardless and be entertaining. Win or lose. I don't care if I lose as long as I'm putting on a show and trying crazy stuff. I really.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I was.
And that's the proper mindset. I think it's just so interesting. For a living, I deal with social media and brand growth and all that. So I obviously put such a focus on it because whether it's an athlete, an actor, a celebrity, a business, people come to us and say, how do I grow a brand? And that's my job. But I'm always so curious to see, as this generation, as your generation continues to come up, I've never been submerged in that culture to see what people are saying, as far as not even just wrestlers, but like different people that you're on the campus with, and the thought process behind, everybody wants to PR themselves. I so appreciate the mindset of, listen, you got to post and grow your brand, but also, especially at your age, there's no need to overdo it. You have these people that, from a standpoint of burnout, you have so many people now who are burning out from trying to PR themselves on social media. And it's not only causing such a distraction from what they're doing, but it's also, and this is so like, I don't want to say it's contradictory to what I tell everybody about like being on social, but from your perspective and your age, I think it's such a proper perspective that like have fun, be involved, but don't let it control you, don't let it distract you. And then from a standpoint of don't let it be a false narrative that I think there's going to be some people that are trying to live up to hype that they're building for themselves, which is scary.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, like, I don't know, I go in there, say I lose a match. Like, last year, I got pinned by Austin Gomez, and I was, like, started the year on my back. Like, I'm not, like, I don't care that I lost. You just can't take that stuff serious, but I'm still going to post because, like, I live to see another day, you know what I mean? But you got to build your brand at the same time. But, like, honestly, just being around K on them, best to stay off it. And so if you're sitting there just reading the comments, and it's like, okay, they're picking against me. Okay, they're picking, let's say, they're picking Fletcher or DeSanto over RBY, and you're sitting there reading it. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to get into your head. Then you're thinking about it like, dang, maybe I am really going to, you know what I mean? So, like, you just got to stay off that stuff. It's bad because it can really eat you up alive, and, like, people are talking smack on you, then you want to reply. You don't, like, you're better than that, but you're going to say something stupid just because you're angry, and then, okay, screenshot this, screenshot that, then it just gets out publicly, and then it's just a mess. So just be smart on that stuff, and it's just not, you just don't do it, but it's definitely big.
No, for sure. A couple weeks ago, I was talking with Anthony Ashnell about why he basically deleted his senior year. Yeah, and I think everybody has to do what's best for them, and I'm after last year, like, I stayed off of it, but I didn't stay off of it to my best ability. And I think this year I'm cutting it all out, not getting on it. There's no need to be on it, and then just get back on it after NTAs and just completely stay silent off that stuff. Because, you'll see so many people, like Hawkeye fans or random people you don't even know. They don't even have a profile picture, and they're just talking smack like, okay, like, who is this dude? And then after a while, it just gets annoying, and you want to backfire, but then you want to make yourself look bad to all the people that do like you that are following you, and then you're going to lose fans and, stuff like that. Yeah, it almost puts you in a no-win position. You kind of see that even from the outside, like watching Zayn and Yanni go at it with such great matches, and no matter what the outcome, you have people that are just going ballistic. And it's like, like Zayn and Yanni are two of the most toughest, level-headed individuals I know. And the fact that you have so many people like hating, like, forget the situation, but like afterwards, like, well, Zane's not going to do this at Worlds, and Yanni this, like, it's nuts. It does take a toll, and I think, again, so many people are over-focused on what social media can do for you, and so many people don't realize that they're almost creating this persona that you can't keep up with. Like, social media, whether you intend it to be or not, is a highlight reel of your life. You don't post the negative things. Every once in a while, you might make light of something, but you're not going to sit here and constantly bombard people with the negative thoughts or the negative things you're doing. So I think especially at an age like this where your mind, not only athletically, what you're doing physically, but your mind is evolving so much, and to get distracted by a loser who hides behind an empty avatar account and just tries to throw shade, like, it's so frivolous. So it's good, I think, that you have that mindset of just let it be.
It's crazy, it's just crazy. I'm not gonna be on it this year at all. It's not be winning it anyway. It's not gonna take that. What's the point? Why my time?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's right, and I think, Cal's a strong component of that. Like, listen, Cal is by far one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. And when he says something, you listen. And everybody, like, Casey's the same way, Cody's the same way. Like, these are such intelligent people. Like, I wish now I could go to Penn State and wrestle just to have them as coaches, like, just to have them as influences. It's like, how do you not do what they say? Like, they're such incredible people, and they're full of wisdom. And it's rare to be, I talk to some of these guys, like, wondering, what's it like going from college coaching, where you have the best coaches in the world, to the senior level, where a lot of the coaches they're college based. So what's that like? And I don't get a chance, so I'll ask you this: what's it like going from your high school coaching to the college coaching? Do you notice a huge difference from a standpoint of what they focus on in you, or what you maybe get out of them?
Are you talking about college coaching, the high school coaching?
Yeah, the differences there.
And I really can't say. I can talk to other college coaches, but for a reason, right? So, accountable, like he always says, that it's up to us. If we want to win, we got to do the right things. They can't make sure they're maybe going to win. They're going to be there and help time away from the family, but if you're not doing the right thing, you can't do nothing about that. So it's just if you come here, you obviously want to win, and they just hold you accountable to your own work and doing the right thing. It's on you at the end of the day. They can't win the matches for you, but they're going to be. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's just so interesting too, because from a standpoint of, I can't remember who I was talking to about it. Maybe Jordan Oliver the other day. We're talking about just the importance of coaches, and how, like, at my age, for example, just I'm well past any educational point in my life, and I'm now focused on, I just got to get better for anything I want to do. If I want to get better at business, I got to get better. If I want to stay in shape, I got to go work out. And it's hard to find people who are truly invested in you. And it's such a cool time, I think, in college. I wish I had went, if nothing else, for that aspect of having those mentors, having those coaches. It makes me think, too. So do you look at, you're in one of the best rooms in the country. Do you look at a lot of the guys like Bo and Zane and Dave and almost feel like you have secondary coaches and, like, mentors?
Oh, yeah, every day, if I need something, I can ask them. That's my favorite. Just being around them, I think live the right style. Much as a person, not even talking about wrestling. I'm just growing as a person, growing as a human being, just having gratitude. Thinking about things I didn't think back home. I'm a whole different perspective here. And this is just not even talking about wrestling, that. This is just side of the wrestling. Like, you have to put your hands here or there. I need a question that'll help me out. And now, my coaches, if I need help, they're always there and they're hard and just peek over and I try to do it myself. Obviously works.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's right. I think it's cool that you have, I know I try to surround myself with people I want to be like. I try to surround myself with people who are smarter than me or people who I can look up to or lean on. I mean, there's that age-old saying that you are what you surround yourself with, and what better to surround yourself with than a group of guys like that. And I imagine, too, like even now when you go to camps and clinics, you're starting to be the guy that a lot of people look to because you've had success.
Yeah, and I think it's just so weird now. Like when I go to camp, sometimes I sit back and think. People are like, all these little kids are looking up to me, but like, it still hasn't hit yet that like I wrestle for Penn State sometimes. Cause like in Arizona or like on the the West Coast, like people don't really love wrestling how they do on the East Coast. So like I go places, and it's like all these kids are coming up with an autograph, and I'm still like, I'm still growing up. I haven't been around this kid. Hold up a little bit, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm barely learning, but after doing camps and stuff, I'm figuring it out, and got a lot better after doing camps because you're teaching all the techniques, and then you start really seeing how other kids are doing the move, and just grow from doing that stuff. And I got better at talking and telling how I got to Penn State. I just grown a lot since what NCAAs. Yeah, I've grown a lot since then, and the junior world team trials and all that stuff. But yeah, sometimes where I was like, oh, it's RBY, but like, I'm just being it's not that serious. But I gotta get used to it.
Yeah, I mean that's only going to continue. I mean, I think college wrestling, especially in the sport of wrestling, it is such a time where you're so relevant and you're so loved. Like I think there's more fans of a college wrestling team than college wrestling, which is why sometimes there's a drop off after college wrestling with fans because everybody's lost. Like these Penn State wrestling fans, after you graduate, they it's the freshmen now that their attention turns to. Like the diehards follow you through your career for a world championship and Olympic gold, but so many of these college fans, like they stay college fans, and it's wild. And it's
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like it's wild that from like you're in that place, and I think you see it at both ends. You have such great coaching and such great mentors, and then on the same side, like you're able to start seeing people look up to you and saying like, You're in this time right now. Like you're in the spot where I want to be.
I'm at Penn State. It's just crazy, and like every match is sold out. There's just fans everywhere. You're just everywhere in State College. You'll walk somewhere and people will be like, "Yo, RBY," and just stuff like that. And yeah, I'll just say because it's more. How do I say it? College wrestling is more consistent with the schedule,
right?
And duels and NCAAs, and then USA wrestling is just like. What is it, trials, and then the world team, and then no one can go watch the world championship because it's so far. They can't pack people at the world championship. So it's like, it kind of gets boring if you're trying to, I mean, obviously it's not boring, but like, it's boring for the fans if they got to pay $30 all the time to watch all these events and stuff.
Yeah, part of it is they want to be there. They want to be at the match in Red Hall.
They want to experience, exactly.
Even look at next week. The World Championships are in Kazakhstan. It's a 10-hour time difference. Yeah. Zane literally starts wrestling at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's not easy it's not an easy sport to follow. You have rule changes, you have guys that will change RTCs, and it's not, unless you have a membership to Flow or something, like you don't know these things. It's a hard sport to follow.
And then you're not watching 10 versus 10. You're watching one guy, then you got okay, maybe you be up here, and you play around, okay, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I hope the sport continues to grow. I think there's so many personalities right now, and there's so many young guys, I think, like you, Yanni, Gable. There's so much potential to reach people because, as much as there's negatives around social media, there's positives, and there's the ability that people can have large audiences of 25, 50, 100,000 followers And that's more people that can follow you through your collegiate career. And then it's easier for you to communicate about world championships or whatever it is if you want, And I know some guys like DT love doing that. Some guys like Zane like just kind of keeping in that college philosophy of just, I'm just going to let my wrestling do the talking. Nobody needs to know what I'm doing. And that's fine too. Like there's something for everyone. All right, cool. Well, listen, man, I'm going to let you go. I know you got a lot to do. You're chilling, you're hanging. I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll chat soon.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much, man. How about that? No hobbies, doing nothing but focusing on what he loves and getting better at it. I have so much respect for that. All right, guys, that is it for today's show. I will be back next week with another episode, or maybe even shorter. I think this was like 5 days in between episodes. In an ideal world, if all of our schedules line up, I'd love to release a new episode every 5 days if you guys will listen. Please direct message me, leave a comment, email me. I don't care. Send a fax, send a pigeon. Just let me know your feedback. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, especially you guys who listened to the entire episode. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back soon.
And the beat goes on.